Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Young Smith. I've been doing martial arts for 35 plus years. I've worked in a state prison, homeless ministry, worked on some rough sides of town, worked with teenagers, a variety of ways, been a bouncer of sorts. So I just wanted to share some of my insight on self-defense. One of those is Ephesians 5:15, and it talks about walking circumspectly and being wise and not as a fool. So being aware of your surroundings is number one, the biggest part of it. So seeing what's going on so that you can be prepared for it. If you see an altercation or you see a suspicious activity, then you want to go the other direction. And so avoidance of a challenge is very important. The second is being prepared. And one of the ways to be prepared, a lot of people like to teach to punch for self-defense. And if your body is not trained to punch, then you're not going to be you're not prepared. So one of the ways to test whether you are able to punch is to see if you can do knuckle push-ups. So just regular push-ups, but on your knuckles. The martial arts teaches that you punch with the two main knuckles, not the two small knuckles, but the two big ones. So just like a punch, you do a push-up in that position. So if you have difficulty doing that, then try palm push-ups. And if you have difficulty doing palm push-ups, then try elbows. So the palms, you can strike the head. Lots of good targets to strike with an open palm that are very powerful, and you can create a lot of energy. Elbow strikes are even more powerful, but if you're not trained, an elbow strike will have a lot more power than a punch, and you won't injure yourself like they did in some of the UFCs, particularly in the beginning when they weren't wearing pads. So awareness is very important, and that's a very important aspect of it. So we're going to talk about some specific techniques of what if somebody grabs a hold of you. If I see there's going to be a fight, I just go the other way. I run. Running away is the best way to win a fight because you didn't have the altercation. So I'm going to bring on a buddy of mine, and we're going to discuss three things. One is if somebody grabs you, how to escape from their grab, like good old Karate Kid, those old people that remember that movie, of moving your hands and circling out of a lock. The second is if they're grabbing hold of you and you have difficulty striking their hand to loosen their grip. And then the third will touch on the beginnings of finger lock. So the first one, I'm going to bring on my buddy Shamari. He's a martial artist also, and a film guy, good stuff. Appreciate all his help. Come this way, this a little bit. The first one is if somebody grabs a hold. So when they grab a hold, I'm going to circle my hand, and it doesn't matter which direction I go. If I circle one way and that doesn't work, then I'm going to circle the other direction. Well, what if they grab a hold and I circle and have difficulty moving? Well, I can use two hands to circle. Do that wax on, wax off, but just do it with two hands. So I don't care which direction they grab a hold, I'm going to circle. But what if they grab with both hands? I'll circle one hand one way and one hand the other way. It doesn't matter. I can circle them at the same time, just as long as I move my hands to help get out of that grip. So it's a very simple concept. No matter how my opponent grabs a hold, I circle and lead with my fingertips, and Karate Kid, use my body and circle. So we're going to take a moment to pause the video and go grab a partner very carefully. Just start out easy, and you may have trouble. If you have trouble, try using two hands to circle. Okay, so press pause on your video and grab a partner and give it a try now. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you got that concept of turning and using your body and circling and moving so that you can get out of someone's grip. But what if they grab a hold and I go to do my escape and it's difficult? One of the things you can do is take your hand like you're knocking on a door and hit the back of your opponent's hand. There's lots of nerves and little small bones that I'm going to strike. So I hit the back of his hand, and it makes his hand want to open up. It's not 100%. Not everybody's going to open their hand. But if I hit it really hard, then there's a pretty good chance that most people, their hand will open up. Then I can do my escape and then run away. Okay? So when I grab a hold, my opponent is going to take like he's knocking on a door and hit the back of my hand, and my hand loosen up. Then he can do that escape. Again, not everybody's going to jump, but you can test it. Make a tight fist and tap your own hand, and you will feel those little nerves kind of tingly in there. It doesn't feel real good. So if you hit it hard, you'll have a better response. And it's like you're knocking on a door with these knuckles, not a punch and not the heel of your hand. It's the little knuckles, just like you would knock on a door. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, so you're gonna get a partner, you're gonna grab a hold, and just slightly tap. But I have one thing before you grab your partner. Well, what if he grabs my shirt? Well, I can still hit his hand. Well, what if he grabs my throat? I can still hit his hand. If I had hair, what if he grabbed my hair? I still could hit his hand. Okay, so I'm gonna hit their hand. So if you would, go ahead and press pause, grab a partner, let him grab your wrist, and then you tap and see how that feels, and then escape. So press pause and grab a partner now. All right, welcome back. So hopefully you see how that feels, but you may have a question. Well, what if he grabs around me and I'm not able to hit his hand very good? So you can actually noogie. I can put my knuckles on his hand and use my other hand to noogie and make him want to let go. So I can noogie back and forth on the back of his hand and press down, and that doesn't feel very good, and he will want to let go. So that's the next one for the same for hitting. So have your partner wrap around and grab you. Then you're going to take your knuckles and reach and put on his hand and put your hand on top and noogie. And then when he lets go, then we're going to do the next step, which is the next part of the video. But go ahead and grab a partner, have them wrap around so that you can reach in and put your knuckles on and noogie. If you have, this one might take a little more practice than just hitting the back of the hand, but go ahead and press pause and give this a try. Press pause now. All right, welcome back. This is the last technique. This one is a finger lock, and I'm going to go into some more detail on this one later in another video, but I just kind of want to introduce it so that you can begin practicing it. So the bad guy's pointing his finger at you, or he's grabbed, you hit his hand and his hand released, or he's reaching for you and his fingers are available. So my opponent his hand is pointed out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my hand near the base of his finger, and the bottom of my hand is going to be real tight where my pinky is. I'm going to pull towards me, and this part of my hand is going to push forward, and I'm going to give it a little bit of rotation, just a little bit of twist. Okay, it's called fulcrum lever base for small circle jiu-jitsu. If I only push his finger, most people, it doesn't have much effect. So I grab really tight like a gun. Really tight like a fist. And if I was gonna point like a gun, I would point my gun down like I'm gonna put it in my holster. But I don't wanna stick my finger out because he's gonna grab my finger. And then whoever took my class and had practiced more is gonna be better at the finger lock. So I'm gonna keep my hand closed, but I would go this direction like I'm putting my gun in a holster. Okay? So I'm pulling it in, pulling tight here, pulling in, pushing forward, and rotating. But I keep my hand closed so he doesn't grab my finger. All right? So the bad guy grabs me, I try to escape. If I have trouble escaping, of course I can use two hands, or I can hit the back of his hand. If his hand loosens, I grab a finger and peel, or if he's wrapped around and I noogie and get his finger, it's the same kind of concept. I can grab one finger or two fingers, but I'm gonna circle and bring it in and down. Again, I'll go into more explanation on finger lock. Very, very carefully, please, very, very carefully on this technique. Do not break your partner's finger, please. But press pause and give this a try. Press pause now. All right, welcome back. Again, thank you to my partner, Shamari. Great guy, training partner, is a good martial artist. And be careful with your partner. Don't break your toys because you can't play with them later, so don't hurt your partner. Self-defense is a lot of mental preparedness. Yes, there's physical preparedness and techniques that you need to practice, but number one is awareness. See what's going on around you, be aware of your surroundings, and look and see and be wise about how you do things. Walk circumspectly and don't be a fool, and be wise. So thank you. This is video number one, and again, this is Young Smith. Thanks and God bless.